Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.'s presidency marks a monumental capstone to a more than 4-decade career in Washington.
That is a legitimate debate.
Biden's path to the Oval Office has not been smooth, marked by personal tragedy and political mistakes. It's also rife with historic achievements. Born in 1942, Biden grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, the oldest of 4. In his early life, his father relocated the family to Delaware for work.
You know, my dad was an honorable, decent man. He worked hard, and he built a great middle-class life for our family.
Despite the family's financial hardships, it was Biden's speech impediment that affected him most as a child.
I remember looking in the mirror with a flashlight in my face because you get embarrassed because you can torch your face, and it's embarrassing.
That stutter earned him the nickname Dash at an early age, but it didn't slow him down. He excelled as a student athlete and high school class president. He married his first wife, Nelia Hunter Biden, at 24 years old and graduated law school shortly after. The family quickly grew with the birth of 3 children. Amidst a happy home life, Biden took a major step forward in his political career.
The youngest new face in the U.S. Senate next year will be that of Democrat Joseph Biden of Delaware.
In one of the closest races of the 1972 election, Biden beat out a 2-term Republican incumbent in a major upset for a Delaware U.S. Senate seat. It was just before his 30th birthday. But just 1 month after this triumph, tragedy struck.
I was down in Washington, and I got a phone call saying that my family had been in an accident. And just like you guys know, by the tone of the phone call, you just knew, didn't you? I don't know how I knew. But the call said my wife was dead, my daughter was dead, and I wasn't sure how my sons were going to make it.
Biden prepared to resign from his newly won position in the Senate as he cared for his 2 surviving sons and, at his lowest moments, struggled with going on. His new colleagues, Republican and Democratic alike, rallied around him, and in January of 1973, Biden was sworn in as senator from Delaware, next to his son, Beau's hospital bed. For the remainder of his career, Biden maintained balance between his Washington duties and his family.
He decided to be there when we woke up from a bad dream, to make us breakfast. So he traveled to and from Washington 4 hours a day.
He later married Jill Stevenson, and they had a daughter, Ashley.
Please help me welcome one of the youngest and most exciting presidential candidates, Senator Joseph Biden.
In 1987, the ambitious senator, now with more than a decade of legislative experience, threw his hat in the ring for president.
My name is Joe Biden. I plan on being a Democratic candidate for President of the United States.
But within 3 months, his first shot at president came to an abrupt end when accusations of plagiarism destroyed his campaign. An election scandal, mild by today's standards. Biden quickly redeemed his reputation. As chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Biden successfully led the effort to block a conservative Supreme Court nominee with the largest Senate vote margin in history, 58-42. Soon after, his political career was put on hold for months after he suffered 2 life-threatening aneurysms. He returned to Washington after months of recovery and soon presided over the hearing of another conservative Supreme Court nominee, Clarence Thomas. A familiar process for Biden, but with unfamiliar circumstances as allegations of sexual harassment surrounded Thomas's nomination.
My name is Anita F. Hill, and I am a professor of law at the University of Oklahoma.
As chair of the Judiciary Committee, Biden made the decision not to include corroborating testimonies from other witnesses alleging sexual harassment, and the nomination was ultimately approved. But Biden's influence didn't end at the bench of the Supreme Court. Under pressure to be tough on crime in the early 1990s, Biden spearheaded a sweeping crime bill. The legislation included the Federal Assault Weapons Ban and the Violence Against Women Act, but critics say the law also contributed to disproportionate rates of incarceration for Black and brown communities. During his 2020 run, Biden acknowledged the fallout, and he's since pledged to put racial justice at the forefront of his administration, starting with his own White House.
Already, there are more people of color in our cabinet than any cabinet ever, more women than ever. The Biden-Harris cabinet, it will be historic. The cabinet that looks like America, that taps into the best of America.
Encapsulated by his historic pick for VP.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
The glass ceiling shattering administration will enter the office with a slate of obstacles: civil unrest, a global pandemic, and a floundering economy dividing the nation. Although some of the challenges are unprecedented, Biden's previous experience in the executive branch may help him lead a team prepared to take on the task.
For 8 years, he was the last one in the room whenever I faced a big decision. He made me a better president, and he's got the character and the experience to make us a better country.
After Biden's failed campaign for president in 2008 and amid a financial recession, President Obama selected Biden as his number 2, a political pairing that evolved into a self-described bromance, immortalized with friendship bracelets among more notable achievements.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom with distinction to my brother, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
During Biden's second term as vice president, tragedy struck again when his eldest son, Beau, passed away from brain cancer.
I think it's fitting to dedicate this bill's critical cancer initiatives in honor of someone who'd be proud of the presiding officer today, and that's his son, Beau.
Leaning on his decades-long relationships with both Democratic and Republican lawmakers, Biden was instrumental in getting legislation through the Capitol and on to the president's desk. Professional and personal bipartisan achievements that many are hoping he's able to replicate as he steps into the Oval Office during a tumultuous time in politics, a tied Senate, and familiar deal makers at the helm. As Biden moves into the next chapter of his political career, this time as commander-in-chief, it is clear his decades of work in Washington and his life experiences, filled with great success and personal loss, will guide him as he navigates the challenges of the presidency. In Washington, Josh Robin, Spectrum News.